The world's biggest economic mistake wasn't greed, it was comfort. We chased cheap because it felt like progress. Phones cheaper than ever, clothes cheaper than ever, everything cheaper than ever. But behind every low price, something vanished, a factory, a skill, a future. While we celebrated discounts, dependence quietly replaced independence. Cheap didn't make us free, it made us fragile. This is the China trap. China didn't dominate the world by force, it dominated it by cost. In the late 1970s, China made a decision that would quietly reshape the global economy. It opened its doors to foreign capital, to mass manufacturing, to an experiment the world had never seen at this scale. Cheap labor, a population larger than entire continents, state-backed industrial planning, minimal regulation compared to the West. Western corporations didn't hesitate. Factories moved east, costs collapsed overnight, profits exploded. China learned faster than anyone expected. It mastered scale, producing not thousands, but millions. When wages rose, machines replaced humans. When competition appeared, prices dropped again. Production became power, and power began to shift, silently. Cheap products don't compete, they erase. Cheap feels good when you're buying, but when you're producing, cheap is lethal. A textile mill in Pakistan, a steel plant in Germany, an electronics workshop in the United States. They didn't collapse because they were inefficient. They collapsed because they were outpriced. You cannot compete with wages that are 10 times lower. You cannot fight government subsidies with free market rules. Slowly, nations stopped making things. They started importing them. Skills disappear. And once production disappears, innovation disappears. Economic independence disappears. Cheap products don't just replace goods. They replace entire economies. Cheap didn't just save money. It created vulnerability. Today, many countries don't just trade with China. They depend on it. Medical supplies, electronics, microchips, rare earth minerals. Then the world stopped. COVID-19 exposed a terrifying truth. Factories shut down, shipping froze, supermarket shelves went empty. Efficiency collapsed the moment resilience was tested. The problem was never China. The problem was putting too much of the world in one place. Cheap turned fragile. To compete with cheap, the world learned how to suffer. To compete, countries made sacrifices. Lower wages, fewer labor protections, long hours. This became the race to the bottom. Cheap products demanded cheap lives. Workers lost security. Quality declined. The environment absorbed the damage. The system rewarded whoever could endure the most pain. This wasn't ideology. It was survival economics. The trap doesn't only catch the bear. It catches the builder. China is no longer the cheapest. Wages are rising. The population is aging. Environmental damage is costly. Factories are moving again. To Vietnam, Bangladesh, Africa. China must now transform itself from low-cost production to high-value innovation. That transition is dangerous. Cheap built China's rise, but cheap cannot secure its future. The world didn't declare war. It declared diversification. Trade wars followed. Tariffs increased. Supply chains shifted. Reshoring, friendshoring, made elsewhere. But rebuilding industries takes time, and addiction to cheap is hard to break. The price tag never tells the truth. Cheap hides its damage. Polluted rivers, exploited workers, lost innovation. That $5 product costs more than money. It costs futures. The answer isn't isolation. It's balance. Not everything must be cheap. Some things must be secure. Strategic industries matter. Local production matters. Resilience matters. The future belongs to economies that can adapt, not just discount. Cheap built the modern world, but survival will rebuild it. The question is no longer, how cheap can we make it? The real question is, what are we willing to lose for convenience? Because when everything is too cheap, something always breaks.